Well, hello. I'm going live today. This is my very first YouTube live. I'm going to be doing this every single week so that we can have some engagements and going on. I want to talk about my untangled system. So what we're going to be doing every week is I'm going to look back on my week and share with you how I use my untangled system from my book Untangled. Da-da-da-da-da. So my book Untangled, you can get this at Nadine Music Untangled, or you can go to Amazon and you can purchase it there. It's also in ebook as well. But in the book, we talk about the system that we use. I start off, I'm just going to kind of go through the whole system for the first one, and then we will talk about how I implemented it this week in my life and give you ideas about how you can implement the system into your life. So the first part of the book that I talk about is, I don't know how to manage all this stuff, is I talk about prayer, meditation, and breath work. And I talk about prayer for just the sake of argument. Prayer is asking. That's when we're asking for something. Meditation is when we actually listen for something. We're listening to our intuition. And breath work is how we start implementing. That's when we start moving things forward using those three things. So we start off by just asking for whatever our intention is, listening to some guidance, and then creating some breath work to move forward through the next steps. So we use those three things as we move through the next steps in our life, and we're going through situations where we might be stuck. So when would you actually use the untangled system? When you're in transition. How many times in your life have you literally felt like you were super stuck, or you just couldn't move past certain things, or you didn't move forward because you didn't know what to do next? And it could be a negative situation like going through a divorce, bankruptcy, something, or it could be a positive situation like having a new baby, becoming a single person, going into a married couple, becoming just a married couple, and then becoming a family, learning how to be a mom, learning how to be a parent. It could be that transitional time as well, where we just kind of just don't know. It could be going from one kind of a job and then being promoted to another. It could be good too, because sometimes we hold ourselves back in that area. Or we want to make a jump into another type of a career. It could be that transition. There are so many transitions that we have in our life, and every single week and every day we have transitions. But what defines us and what helps us move forward, what I found is an extremely, extremely easy system. It's super easy. When I looked at what I was going through in my life and how I kept getting stuck, I finally realized, wow, it's in order to move forward, we all do the same things. We all do this. It's just a matter of doing it and understanding. And how much more empowering can it be when we literally know what the system is? So the first thing we need to do is we need to let go. And we hear that all the time. Let go of old beliefs, let go of habits, old habits that are not working for us anymore. And it doesn't mean that those things were bad. They worked for us at one time and got us to where we are. But in order to move forward, we might have to make some changes. The second thing that we need to do is we need to radically accept who and where we are today. Sometimes it means accepting that we actually love ourselves, but we have to accept that. And the other thing too is we just need to love ourselves. We need to love ourselves for where we're at. In order to move forward, we just have to learn to accept and also to love and appreciate where we're at. The next thing that we need to do is We need to make ourselves vulnerable. And vulnerable is being courageous. It's learning to be super courageous. That's what vulnerability is. It's admitting that maybe we don't know something and we go after it. We learn how to do something. And we have a purpose. We need to have a purpose to make ourselves vulnerable and to move forward. We have to have a purpose for whatever that purpose might be. And then we also need to let go of the outcome. Lastly, we do. We just need to let go of the outcome and just focus on the purpose and focus on just the action steps that we need to do. So I'm going to start off this week with something simple and tell you what I literally had to go through. So I have a winter job. I work seasonally. And some people have asked, well, why do I do that? And one, the money's always nice. And two, it keeps me grounded. It keeps me in touch with the general public and with people. That keeps me in touch with things that I like to do. And plus I work at a ski resort, so I love to ski. I love the outside. So I'm with people that I like, and I'm meeting other people too, and that really helps. However, during that job, you think because I'd work at a ski resort that I would be skiing all the time and I'd be in great shape. But the truth of the matter is I end up putting on like 7 pounds every year. Well, last year I put on that 7 pounds, but I didn't take it off usually in the summertime like I've done in the past. And I didn't even work out that much last year just due to life. Life just happened. I was focusing on getting my book out, so I sat behind a computer a lot. I did not lose that normal weight that I normally do, the up and down, because that's what I do. That's life. I go up and down in my weight, which just represents where my life is. So this year, after battling to just keep the maintain, but then put on another 3 pounds, I brought it down and I decided I just need to start working out again and getting myself back in shape. Now, for those of you that don't know me, I have a fitness background. I was a personal trainer for a lot of years. I ran a weight loss program. I've done all kinds of crazy things. So my ego got in the way when I decided to get back on my Nordic track and decided to start riding my bike again and getting myself back in shape. And I was beating myself up, literally the negative talk that was coming into my head about how bad a shape I was in and letting myself go was not helping. It was not helping at all. So in order to get myself back, I had to go back to the very beginning of basically my workouts. I had to go back into a beginning yoga workout. I had to go back in to just a basic weight training workout. I just had to begin small. And I didn't want to play small because my ego told me that I was big. My ego kept telling me that this is where you used to be. This is where you should be. So through my process, I was able to sit down and pray and ask, talk to the universe, set my intentions of, man, I just really want to get back in shape. Help me get back to my physical realm. I'm getting older. I want to stay healthy. I need to eat better, need to drink less, all those good things, all the stuff that we know that we should be doing, but I was not doing. So I had to set my intentions. I had to ask, help me, guide me. And then I got back into my meditations in the morning and just really focused and listened to what needed to happen. And what needed to happen, I did not like. What my intuition told me was I had to go back to the beginning and start over. And so I had to breathe through that. I just had to breathe through it. And it wasn't easy because it was my ego. So I had to let go of my ego. I had to let go of the shoulds in my life, that I should have not put on that weight, that I should have stayed in shape, that I should have skied more this year. I should have done cross country. I mean, all this stuff access to me. But did I take advantage of it? No, I did not. So I had to stop beating myself up, let go of that bad self-talk. I then had to accept myself for where I was at. Okay, so you put the weight back on. Good job, Nadine. It's okay. I just had to accept where I was at. I'm back at the beginning. And then I got to love myself. And oh my gosh, I think learning to love yourself is one of the hardest things to do. I had a very, very difficult time doing that. But I did. I just had to learn to love myself. And I did. And I did. I loved where I was at. I decided I was going to love where I was at. I looked for the silver lining in it by making myself vulnerable and admitting that that's where I'm at. So I had to make myself vulnerable and go back to the beginning. And that's what it was. So I downloaded, I found some really cool apps that I had not been using. And so I learned and I went back to the beginning. I had somebody else teach me how to work out. I pushed myself just a little bit. I decided, okay, you want to start running or doing this, 25 steps. 25 steps in my daily walk. I started very, very small, but I had to make myself vulnerable for that. And I did. I learned something new. I got rid of my ego. I just learned it. And now I'm just letting go of the outcome. I might need to have some extra padding on my body right now. I might. I just know that I focus on the steps now. I have to let go of the outcome and just focus on the action steps. That's how I used it in this part of my life today. Where can you use those steps? What transitions do you need to make? One of the reasons that I share these things with you, and I want to do this, is when in my younger days, as I was struggling and I talked to a lot of young moms who are frustrated and, even in this culture right now, this political unrest culture, the people that really helped me were not necessarily the ones that had already arrived and never really shared their journey with me. They were not the ones that just told me what to do. But personally, I needed to hear what their struggles were. I needed to share more in depth because then I could really see, well, they go through that, so I can go through it too. I needed to feel more connected. And I know that in some coaching circumstances that they tell you, don't share yourself. It's not about you. And it isn't about me, but I'm going to share these things about me so that you can look at me and go, shoot, I can do that too. That's what worked for me. So again, I'm not for everybody. This is not going to be for everybody, but these are the steps that need to happen. Now, each one, of course, Brown goes more into the be vulnerable portion. So each one you can go deep, and you do each step a little bit deeper through the prayer, meditation, breath work, through therapy if you need it, with the therapist. But if you'd like to work with me as a coach, just message me, contact me. You can message me and look at the programs I have at nadinemusic.com. I am going to be changing the name and making some changes. I call stuff sometimes failing forward, and that's what we're going to do together. We're just going to keep walking forward and improving every single time. So anyway, I'll see you next week for our little quick 15-minute segments. I will be posting at some point a Zoom call, and we'll be doing free Zoom calls for people that want to talk to me directly. That'll be wonderful. So anyway, see you guys soon. I'll see you next week for my Tuesday talk. Every Tuesday at 11 o'clock. Tuesdays at 11 for Tuesday talk. Bye.